All right. All right. Good evening, everyone. It is great to be back, and great to start off. Actually, I guess yesterday maybe started off the business week for most folks, but it's great to start off our webinar. We normally have 2 webinars each week. We do a presentation webinar on Tuesday nights, and we do a training webinar on Thursday nights. Well, what I wanted to do, because we are about, I think, 39 days or so from THWGlobal completing its soft launch. And I'm going to assume that at the end of the soft launch that we at least will have 1 or 2 countries, if not more, online viewing. That's my assumption. That's my conjecture. So hopefully that will be the case. Now, Tuesday nights, what I've noticed over the past few weeks is that we would have loads of folks that are already in THWGlobal coming to the Tuesday night webinars. And of course, we'd love to see you come, but I always want to make sure that you're getting value. We recorded a presentation webinar a couple of weeks ago that I think is just a phenomenal recording. And obviously, that's available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I'll give you the URL that you can use, and you can get out to folks and what have you. So what I was thinking is, maybe on Tuesday nights, at least until we launch, maybe we should spend that time going through some THWGlobal training stuff, or maybe doing some generic marketing training. We've got a mobile marketing system that we'll be launching probably in 2 to 3 weeks. So our Thursday night webinars, I want that to center on the mobile marketing element so that you'll start understanding the mobile marketing system. And of course, that mobile marketing system is designed to promote the THW offer, okay? And we're going to get that into the marketplace even before the soft launch has finished. So Thursday nights is really going to be more of a mobile marketing night. And Tuesday night, you're going to help me determine what we're going to do with Tuesdays, at least for the next few weeks. So I want you to do me a favor. I want everyone to participate in the polls that I'm about to bring up. You'll see it pop up on your screen. There'll be a radio button, and you just simply click the radio button that corresponds with your answer. So the first question I have is, if you're here for the very first time, you've never been on a live webinar with yours truly, they refer to me as Doc for the funnel Doc, then let me know that you're here for the first time. If you're not here for the first time, then you'd be putting no. And let's get everyone voting, even my new folks. I need your input, because that's going to help me determine the direction for tonight's webinar and then for the next few Tuesdays, okay? All right, let's get everyone voting, please. Everyone voting, give you 5 seconds, and 4, and 3, and 2, and 1. There's quite a few of you here that are here for the first time. It doesn't mean you're not in THWGlobal yet. You may already be in and maybe just coming to the webinar for the first time. Okay, let's close that one out. Got a couple more. This one is going to ask if you're already registered with THWGlobal. Have you already registered, joined with someone in THWGlobal? If that's you, then you're going to put yes. If no, you're going to put no. Let's get everyone voting. Okay, fantastic. Okay. All right, so we've got a few of you that have not yet joined THWGlobal. Okay, so you're going to want to get back to the person that referred you. Now, what that tells me is that I need to at least spend just a few minutes covering THWGlobal. May not do the whole webinar with the presentation, but at least a few minutes for those of you who are have not registered yet. All right, and just whoops, I messed up. Bear with me. Okay, couple more, and then we'll get into our information. All right, now this one is going to ask if you have taken the demographic survey. Those of you who have registered, whoops, oh darn, wrong thing. Bear with me. Bear with me. Okay. If you've registered with THWGlobal, you should have filled out your demographic survey. If you have not, I need to know if you have not. Okay, all right, let's get everyone voting. All right. So most of you have, but there's a few of you that have not. And it could be some of you that haven't registered yet. Registration, by the way, is going to be absolutely free. So I'm going to give you about 10 or 15 minute snapshot of THW Global for those of you who are here for the very first time. And then this is going to be the last question, I think, that we're going to ask. So a few of you have not filled out your demographic survey. Okay. Got two more real quickly. This one says, on Tuesday nights for the foreseeable future, the foreseeable future really being until the system has come out of pre-launch. On Tuesday nights, what would you prefer to see? A standard presentation for you and your new guests, or more of a training that is centered around THW Global, and there might be some basic marketing there that you can apply to THW Global or any other business. Okay, and so I'm going to let's get everybody voting here, because I'm going to let you make that decision. Okay, I'm going to let you make that decision. The majority of you, about 2/3 of you right now, no more than 2/3, about 3/4 of you, I'm going to show this one. All right, I'm going to close this one out in 5, go on a vote, 4, go on a vote, 3, go on a vote, 2, go on a vote, 1. Closing this one out. I want to show this one so everyone will see what the majority was saying. Okay, so the majority of you are saying, about 3/4 of you are saying, you want Tuesday nights, at least for the foreseeable future, next few weeks, to be more of, hey, let's cover some THW Global stuff, maybe do some frequently asked questions or get more into questions, and then do some basic marketing training. Now, for those 26% that said, man, I want my presentation from my new folks, don't fret, because I'll give you a link that you can get out to your new folks. I think it's the best presentation webinar we've done to date. And you'll be able to get that out to your folks 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So your folks will not miss being able to have a presentation from our vantage point. Okay. All right. And then that's all. I think that we've got enough information. We've got enough information. Okay. All right. So let's do this. Oh, crud. What just happened? Okay. Queen, time me at 30 minutes past. I need to be finished this, okay? So we can do some, do a little training here, all right? So our webinar objective, very quickly, we want to reveal a solution to a global economic problem. There's major financial calamity happening all across the globe, but it's not happening for everyone, all right? It's happening for most, but it's not happening for everyone, as you'll see in just a few moments. So what we want to do is we want to show you how leveraging THW Global, as she will, prayerfully, she will be launching here in the next few weeks, how 10 hours a week could be a catalyst for you building a 6 or a 7-figure business. And that's even if you failed previously. So if you have no internet marketing experience, you've got no marketing experience, or you've got experience, but it hasn't been good. All right. Maybe you've struggled. All right. Even if that has been your song up to this point, we're going to change that song. Now, what we have been asking during this pre-launch / soft launch stage is THW Global crap or is it gold? And the reason we ask that question is simply because we've been in this industry now 20 plus years, and we know that a lot of times when a company has not yet launched, there are these, great ideas on paper. And sometimes those ideas on paper come to fruition and you wind up having an awesome company. And then sometimes those ideas on paper, when you get into the real world, don't quite work out. We're not asking, is it a scam or anything like that? We're just simply saying, are they going to live up to, what they're saying that they want to do? And that, no, we don't know that. And anyone who's out there who is saying, man, it's crap, or it's gold, I think it's just premature. I think we have to wait and see. But the potential is so vast that I think we do ourselves and do our families and anyone that may be following us a disservice by not talking about it and not sharing it with those disclaimers. Hey, it could be crap. Hey, it could be gold. If it's gold, ladies and gentlemen, we want to be there at the beginning of the gold rush. So we've got some challenges. This article talked about folks that in the U.S. that are on welfare, and it basically picks up on the fact that it used to be that if you were on welfare in the U.S., a lot of people would look at you and say, that dude, he's a little lazy, she's a little lazy. They need to go and get a job or what have you. Well, this is saying that more than half of the recipients of welfare are actually working families. So things have changed dramatically. There was an article talking about college students not being able to find jobs. 22% of college graduates are underemployed or unemployed. That's a challenge. College students in 2016, on average, the average debt that a college student graduated with was over $37,000. That's a problem. Now, I know we've got folks from all across the globe, not just in the U.S., but the issue is if the U.S. is widely regarded as being the richest country in the world, well, its citizens are having some struggles. And if its citizens are having struggles, then that might be indicative of some underlying struggles across the globe. Here was an article talking about baby boomers, our seniors, not being able to afford to retire, and that they're having to work much, much longer. Excuse me, I have a tickle in my throat. Excuse me. They're having to work a lot longer, and that older workers are working, older workers in the marketplace, in the labor force, is at a 25-year high, mostly out of necessity. It talks about most Americans really don't have a lot of money saved up for retirement. Over half of Americans 50 years and over have less than $25,000. So they're dependent on things like pensions and Social Security. And, you know, it's interesting that Social Security isn't being talked about in this presidential cycle. There's a whole bunch of crazy stuff being talked about, but not Social Security. The reality is it's basically bankrupt. And I don't know how they're going to continue to fund that, because it's, you know, they use that to pay off other stuff, some of the wars and what have you. They kind of raided the Social Security Trust Fund, which at one point had a huge surplus, but now it's at a deficit. This particular article talked about how retirees are struggling, and cities like Detroit filed bankruptcy, and as a result, there are retirees out there that are in really dire situations. A pension is where you work for a company or you work for a government, and they say, hey, when you retire because you did such a great job for us, we've got your back. You know, you're going to get a monthly stipend, monthly checks, so on and so forth. Well, this talked about when the city filed bankruptcy, they cut people's monthly checks. They cut out any cost of living adjustment, which would help offset inflation as cost of goods and services go up each year. They cut majorly. They cut 90% of the health benefits. They took back $240 million that they had already paid out to retirees. So here you'd been retired for 6 years, 7 years, 8 years, 9 years, 10 years from, you know, being a policeman or being a fireman or working in administration in the government there in Detroit. And they came back and said, hey, you owe us some money, you know, give us back our money. And so we've got these challenges that are happening. So a few weeks ago, I don't know what, 5 weeks ago now, maybe 6 weeks ago, something comes across my desk, and stuff comes across your desk, fills your email inbox just like it fills mine. And I didn't pay as much attention to it initially, but the person that sent it to me is very special to me. It's a person that I've done business with since 2008, 2009. Never met him personally, but all online. But we've done, you know, great business together. And so because he sent it to me, I took a longer look. And what this information talked about was this company that was in pre-launch, THWGlobal. THW stands for 10 hours weekly. And that folks were going to be able to generate revenue, not necessarily marketing, all right? And I want you to market. I want you to get good at that stuff. But even if they weren't good at marketing, if they would just commit up to 10 hours a week, that's the maximum, 10 hours a week, to comment on commercials and TV pilot programs and movie trailers and video surveys and more. And at first, when I looked at the website, you know, the website is not all that impressive. But then I had to put a different hat on. I had to take my home business network marketing hat off and really dissect THW Global for what they're saying they want to become, which is they want to become an international advertising giant. And so we started doing some research, and we looked at companies like YouTube. YouTube is owned by Google, and YouTube allows you to register for free, go and watch videos, all that good stuff. But what they really are, they're not a video site. That's what we think they are. They are an advertising platform disguised as a video site. They're worth $70 billion, on their way to being worth $90 billion. Why? Because of all the ads. So now you go, you watch a YouTube video, you've got ads above it, you've got ads before you watch the video in many cases, sometimes even ads in the middle. If it's a longer video, you might have ads, several minutes into the video. And then you take a look at systems like Twitter. Again, what's Twitter? Well, most people say, well, it's a social network. No, it's not. It's an advertising platform disguised as a social network. For years, they built their following before they ever started serving ads. For years. But now they did $641 million in advertising in one quarter, the last quarter of 2015. Facebook, $5.2 billion. See, we all thought, Tom, that Facebook was about connecting with your old classmates from high school or college, or connecting with your loved ones, or, hey, you're on a trip, or you just had a baby, or your grandchildren, or unfortunately somebody left us and we're saying our last goodbyes. Ron, again, it's an advertising platform, my friend, that's disguised as a social network. So what they've done brilliantly is they've gotten 1.6 billion people all across the globe to register for free, to post content, put pictures up, do videos, and all the time what's been happening is they are collecting demographic data, and they're now able to serve ads. They did $5.2 billion in the first quarter of this year alone. And then we've got the granddaddy of them all, which is Google. Now, here's what's happening is not only are these platforms big advertising platforms, but the advertising costs are growing immensely. Back in 2011, this is where this comes from. Back in 2011, 97% of Google's revenue was coming from advertising. And back then, you could look at a keyword like attorney, and it cost, in the turquoise there, about $47.07 was the highest keyword. You know how this works. You go to Google, you put in mesothelioma attorney, all right? And up pops, all these options, and you've got some ads there. And if you click onto the ads, the ones where people are paying to be there, then that advertiser is being charged for the click. Now, you might not have watched the video. You may have only spent a few seconds on the site. That advertiser is being charged nonetheless. Now, look at what it was back in 2011. $47.07 was about the height of an attorney-based keyword. That was back in 2011. Look at what it is right now. As of 2016, the number one keyword in terms of cost is best mesothelioma lawyer, $935. If you went and you typed in best mesothelioma lawyer and saw an ad, so please don't go do this unless you need a mesothelioma lawyer. I think that's a type of cancer or something. All right, so because it's going to cost some advertiser a bunch of money. All right, but if you were to click, whether you stayed on that site for a minute or 10 minutes, or whether you call in for a consultation or what have you, that keyword garners as much as $935. 5 years ago, it was $47. So the question that becomes, where's this money going to come from that's going to pay you and me to view promotional content? And so we also have another challenge that advertisers are now facing. Those in the TV market, there's still $76 billion that is spent in TV advertising. But what's happening is TV advertisers are struggling to get their message in front of a target audience, because you've got things like DVRs where people are recording live TV, watching their favorite show on a recorded basis, fast forwarding through the commercials. And then you've got things like Netflix, where it's an on-demand service. I've got Netflix. Millions of people across the globe have Netflix. Hulu Plus is another one, for example, where you can watch many of your favorite shows, watch movies and what have you, but because you are a subscriber, you don't have to watch the commercials. And so that's one of the reasons that we've seen so much money now going into Google, going into Facebook, going into Twitter, because with those platforms, advertisers are able to better target their target market. You know, people that would be interested in, you know, certain products or services or what have you. Whereas with TV advertising, it's a big blanket. It's throwing it up against the wall to see what sticks because you reach so many households. The problem is they're not reaching as many households because a lot of people are no longer watching recorded TV. So this went on to say, while audiences are watching more TV than ever, many people are watching less of it live, causing advertising revenue to shrink. Now, just how big is this whole advertising piece of pie? All right. Well, let's go to Mark Zuckerberg, one of the founders there of Facebook. All right. This was dated $48.7 billion. I just pulled up something the other day. Now he's worth like $51 billion. Okay. Why? Because he's leveraging 1.6 billion people that are sharing things and posts with their friends and loved ones, and he's serving us ads. All right. We made him rich. How much money did he pay you? Unless you are a Facebook investor, you've not made a dime from Facebook. Obviously, you could be an advertiser. Maybe you're promoting your products or services on Facebook. But all those ads, as you go through your news feed, as you look on the right-hand side, you're not making any of that money. Same thing with Google. All right. How many times have you told someone, hey, just go Google it? Well, every time you tell someone just go Google it, and you don't even have to tell them that now because that's kind of inbred in us, right? Just go Google it if you've got a question. Well, here's one of the co-founders of Google worth $34.1 billion. And they're saying, thank you, thank you, thank you. And what THWGlobal is saying, we want a piece of that advertising pie, but we're going to pay you. We're going to pay you to view promotional content. Now, let's just cover real quickly how they're going to pay us, and then we'll get into some training here, okay? So there's three numbers that you want to pay attention to. There is the 25, 5, and 1. All right, let's talk about the $25 first and foremost. What they're going to do is they're going to pay us up to $25 an hour, up to $25 an hour for a maximum of 10 hours weekly. All right, $25 an hour for a maximum of 10 hours weekly. Now, where does the up to come from? This is a little training here. Let's make sure you understand this, okay? The up to comes in the fact that different countries and different regions are going to have different advertising rates. I want you to think this through, okay? I don't have this slide here. I might be able to pull it up real quickly, but I went back a few days ago and I looked at what is the average disposable income of the average U.S. citizen. And it winds up being like $2,800 US a month. And then we looked at what's the average disposable income, you know, after tax salary of someone, let's say, in the Philippines. And that figure was, I think, $350 some odd. So obviously there's a big disparity between what the average U.S. person takes home and what the average Filipino takes home. So obviously, if an advertiser is advertising to a US-based audience, then that advertiser would pay more to get their ad in front of someone that lives in the US that would potentially buy their products and services. An advertiser advertising to someone in the Philippines, where the income isn't what it is in the US, obviously that advertiser is not going to spend as much. And then I started looking at my own business. When I advertise, let's say on Facebook, if I'm targeting folks in the US, my ad rates are higher. I'm going to pay more, whether it's per impression or cost per click. I'm going to pay more versus if I was advertising to South Africa, or if I was advertising to the Dominican Republic or to the Philippines or what have you. So that's what that up to $25 means. All right, so now I want you to keep this in mind. Every person in your household, that's 18 or over, they can register and they can become a viewer. We need ultimately to hit our goal. We want to have 1% of the global advertising pie. Right now, that would represent $650 billion. That would be $6.5 billion. They want to be there in the next 3 years. Okay. We need to have hundreds, tens of millions of viewers all across the globe. All right. There's a $5 figure here, and this $5 is an override. If you were to refer others and they register for how much? Free, and then they begin viewing, all right, you earn up to $5 per hour that they view. So if you refer, let's say 10 folks, and they are viewing, 10 hours a week, and let's say they're earning the top, $25, well, then you're earning $5 times their 10 hours. That's $50 a person there, times however many. So every person that you personally refer could be worth, when you do all the numbers, up to $200 a month in their viewing. They may not be a marketer. They may not ever refer anyone, but they may just be a viewer of content because they're looking to make their own up to $25 an hour. And then if you build out a structure, you build out a team, you refer John, John refers Mary, Mary refers Paul, Paul refers Cynthia, so on and so forth. You can build out what's called a 10-level organization. So you can have people well on your 9th level and 10th level, and for every hour they view, you could earn up to $1 per hour. So in time, that could be hundreds, that should be thousands, that should be tens of thousands. Some of you will get into the hundreds of thousands, those of you that really follow us intimately, because you're going to build a massive network. Now, let me just show you this, and then we're going to get into, then we're going to round third on this, okay? And we'll get into some training or some frequently asked questions. All right, so let me give you an example. Bear with me. Bear with me. Give me just a moment. Give me just a moment. Let me pull up something that I see, Queen. I'm almost finished. Thank you. Darn. Is that the one I want? I'm working on our mobile marketing presentation, and I've got some updated figures, but I can't seem to find it right now. So, darn. Okay, I can't find it, unfortunately. All right, so bear with me. I'll go to some old numbers. All right, so let me give you an example real quickly, and we'll start the round third here. All right, these numbers are old. One of our teammates in the first week, I think this represents the first week, maybe the first 2 weeks of their business, they personally enrolled 270 folks. All right, so now that means 270 folks. Every person that they personally enrolled could be worth up to $200 a month, assuming that those folks view the 10 hours and they earn up to the $25 an hour. Now, we know it's not going to work that way perfectly. We know not everybody's going to view all 10 hours. We know that even if people view 10 hours, they may live in a certain region where they're not earning $25 an hour. They're earning $10 an hour or $15 an hour, depending on that region. And so his override, your override, would be proportional to what your person that is viewing earns. So it could be they earn $25 an hour, you earn $5 an hour as an override. It could be they earn $12.50 an hour, you would earn $2.50 an hour. That's just the proportion. Okay, so look, he's personally enrolled 270 folks. So that right there could be times $200 a month. It probably won't hit the $200 a month, but the fact is that it could be. That's the maximum that it could earn. Then he's got a team. This is way old. He's got a team of 3,000 folks. So any of these folks, anybody from levels 2 through 10 that views an hour's worth of content, he could make $1. He can make $1 for every hour that they view. In this example, all right, about 3,000 folks. If they view just 1 hour a week, that's potentially $12,000. That's potentially $3,000 a week. Excuse me. All right. And this was from his first couple days. I'm sorry. Excuse me. First maybe week to 10 days. And so what we want to do is we want to show you how to build out a large referral network. And so one of the things that we have shared with our audience, and we are getting into training, some of you have seen this before, but this is very important, so we are getting into training here, is something that we refer to as our 10-hour pledge. All right. Now, we normally go through this very quickly at the end of our webinar, but I want to spend a little more time on this because now we're transitioning into our training. Now, what I want us to do, for those of you that said, hey, you have not yet joined THW Global, keep this in mind. Joining is absolutely free. Doesn't cost you one dime to join. All right. So you want to get back to the person that referred you to this webinar and say, hey, send me your link. You'll go on and join. I'll walk you through the, you know what? Let me do that first. Let me walk you through the joining process. It's real simple. Give me a moment. Okay. Okay, so you're going to get back to the person that referred you. You're going to ask them to send you their link. You'll see their name up here where it says presented by. Now, they might be using a company name, but you'll see that name where it says presented by. Okay, now you're then simply going to click where it says register now. And when you click on there, it's going to be a form. It's not going to ask you for anything overly sensitive. Your name, your email address, a username, and a passcode, and that's it. And then it allows you to log in. Now, once you have registered, you want to log in. I'm going to do that now. I'm going to freeze my screen so I won't display any login details. And once you're inside, you're going to do two quick things. Number one, you're going to come over here where it says Survey Center, and you're going to take the demographic survey. That's going to take you all of 5 minutes to take that demographic survey. That demographic survey is going to let THW Global know what types of interests you have in your household. So when you take the survey, don't just think about things you're interested in. Think about things that anyone in your household might be interested in. So for instance, I'm not the cooking dude, all right, but my wife loves her cooking shows, all right? So when I took the survey and I saw stuff that dealt with recipes and cooking and what have you, I clicked the interest there because I knew my wife would be interested, and then vice versa. She's not the stock person or the Forex person, but I am. She knows I like that kind of stuff. So when she took the survey, she clicked on the stock and the Forex stuff and all that good stuff, okay? Mind you, anyone in your household that's 18 or older, you should go on and get registered. You register with the person that referred you, and then you register your wife or your husband or your significant other, and so on and so forth. So you come over here, you take the demographic survey. Once you take the demographic survey, then what's left to do is to go over here to where it says Message Center. You're going to click where it says Message Center. Now, I've got a lot of messages because we're active in referring. But what you're going to see, you'll probably just see a couple messages there. You're going to be looking for where it says Welcome to THW. When you click there, it's going to have your referral links. It's going to have your referral links so that you can now get your referral links out to other people that would want to register. Okay. All right. So now let's get back here and let's talk about you building out, for those of you that want to build out a long-term sustainable business, how we're going to leverage THW Global. And this is one of the reasons why we've been so passionate about getting this message out. Yes, we balance it with, hey, you know, it could be crap, you know, we hope it's gold and what have you. But the reason we're so passionate is because she gives a lot of our folks some resources that they haven't had to be able to build out a long-term sustainable business. Okay, what does it take real quickly? What does it take to build out a long-term sustainable business? Let me just put this up here on the whiteboard so you know, okay? It takes you owning and controlling your own list, okay? You must, we're in training now, you must build a list that you own and control. You must build a list that you own and control. Now, what does that mean? All right. Well before the internet, way back when I got into this industry, a person would join your business and you would fill out a prospect list. Open up your questions box. If you guys remember doing the memory jogger and the prospect list and listing people that you know, people you go to work with, people that you worship with, people that you went to school with, people that kept your children. If you did that kind of stuff, or at least someone tried to get you to do that kind of stuff, and it was nauseating because you didn't want to have to go and talk to your friends and family. I get that. But if you remember that, put a Y in your questions box. Yeah, that was me. Yeah. Aren't you glad you don't have to do that kind of stuff anymore? Okay. Yeah. Look at you. Yeah. Look at all these yeses. Okay. Now, having a list is still important. It's just the method that we use is totally different now. The method that we use is we're going to build out an email list. All right. So we want to have an email list. We want to have an SMS text messaging list. All right. We want to own and control this list. So with THWGlobal, when someone registers with you in your back office, you're going to see their name and their email address. But that is not your list. So what you want to do if someone joins you is you want to connect with that person via email, and you ultimately want them to opt in to something that you do control, your email list, your SMS text list, so on and so forth. We'll talk more about SMS text messaging and why that's where my main focus will be as we launch our system. We'll talk about that on Thursday. Okay? But you want to have a list that you own and control. Now, some people look at things like social media, like Facebook or Twitter, and they say, well, that's my list. Queen Twitter, who did the introductions, she has over 1 million people following her on Twitter. Is that crazy or is that crazy? Over 1 million followers on Twitter. But I would say to Queen, that's not a list that you own and control. That is a list, yes. All right. Let me tell you why I say you don't own it and control it. I haven't heard this much about Twitter, but I certainly have seen this happen with Facebook and YouTube and what have you. Okay. So I've got a bunch of videos right now on YouTube as they relate to THWGlobal. I think I'm about 40 plus videos now. And we've had hundreds of thousands of hits, collectively with all those videos. But years ago, someone sabotaged my YouTube channel, and YouTube shut off my channel. So if my only way of doing business was YouTube, and it was a big part of my business, I no longer could communicate with people via YouTube because they shut down my channel. They took down off all my videos. Somebody sabotaged my channel. And it took me about 6 or 8 weeks before YouTube brought my channel back up. But when they brought it back up, guess what wasn't on there? All those videos. I had 150 plus videos across different niches, and they were all gone. Now, I still had the content saved on my computer, but my gosh, I mean, that was a channel that I built over a few years, loading up content and what have you. Okay. Facebook, I had the same issue with Facebook. I was living in the U.S., born and raised in the U.S., and then we moved to our island paradise. Well, when I was in the U.S., I did not access Facebook all that much. I didn't do much advertising or what have you. When I moved to my island paradise, I started learning about Facebook marketing and all those things. And all of a sudden, I start advertising with Facebook. So I go from a totally different IP with my Facebook account that was in the US to now being in my Caribbean paradise. And now I'm spending money with Facebook advertising. Well, Facebook is looking out for me. They shut down my account for a review. They wanted to make sure that I was the one that was buying the ads, and I had to send in, picture ID and proof of address and all this other stuff. It took Facebook about 3 months before they cleared it all up. It took Facebook about 3 months. So guess what I couldn't do? I couldn't communicate with anybody on Facebook. I couldn't even log in. All right. I was able to log in to put in like a support ticket type of thing, but I wasn't able to do any post whatsoever. I had Facebook groups. I had Facebook fan pages for me to communicate with my audience. All right. And guess what? For about 90 days, I couldn't make a post to my groups. I couldn't make a post to my fan page. I couldn't do any advertising. That's not a list that you own and control. If you have a Facebook following, great. If you have a Twitter following, LinkedIn following, great. You ultimately You ultimately want to get those folks opting into an email list, an SMS text messaging list, and ultimately you want them to do both, okay? Now, here's been the challenge that most people have had. How do I build my list, all right? How do I build my list? And there's folks out there that would tout what they call free traffic. All right, traffic simply being visitors getting to your site. They would say free traffic. Hey, here's how you can build your list for free. Here's how you can get free traffic, okay? I want to say that free traffic, don't buy the hype, okay? Is there a such thing as traffic that did not cost you tangibly cash? The answer to that is yes. And I'll go back to YouTube, all right? What I've done for years is I've done a lot of my business via YouTube. So if I'm promoting an offer, all right, doesn't matter what the offer is, all right, THWGlobal, ABC, DEF. If I promote an offer, particularly an offer that may be in pre-launch, where when I heard about it, there weren't that many people in it yet, all right, I get busy and I start putting up YouTube video after YouTube video after YouTube video after YouTube video, because I know there's going to be people that's going to go to YouTube to check whatever it is out. And there's going to be some folks, if they see enough of my videos out there, they're going to run across my videos and they haven't joined yet. And they may ultimately join with me. That happens no matter what it is that I promote, because that's one of the ways that I get traffic. But here's the thing. It's not free. It's not free. I've got 40 plus videos right now just on THWGlobal. That takes time to cut the content. That takes time to edit the video. That takes time to render the video. So I spend a lot of my time doing that. What I would rather do is just pay to get traffic to my site. Well, why am I not doing that now? Because I don't have my systems in place. They call me the funnel doc, because I want to have a funnel-based system that when I drive traffic to the system, when any of my folks that leverage the system drive traffic, the system does all the work. Right now, I'm doing the work, doing a live webinar. I want to have it where somebody sees an ad, they click on to the ad, they go to my system. My system then is the one that does all the sorting and the sifting and the presenting and what have you. And then on the other end, I wind up having someone that joins me. And not only now do I have someone that joins me, I have someone who says, oh, I can do that because I didn't have to do a live webinar. See, the one challenge sometimes when you have a live webinar system is some people feel like they've got to do live webinars in order to make money, or they're limited in being able to drive people to the live webinar because the live webinar happens once a week or a couple times a week or at a different time. We had somebody here from the Netherlands. I have no idea what time it is in your part of the world. A lot of folks that come from Australia. I have no idea what time it is in your part of the world. So free traffic, but what we really want is we want paid traffic. I mean, I want us to think this through. We are going to be making money, let's assume she's gold, by viewing what? Advertisements. Did it cost the advertisers? Was it free to the advertisers? Or are the advertisers paying THWGlobal? That's how we're paid, because they're paying THWGlobal. THWGlobal is then paying us up to $25 an hour, up to $5 an hour for any of our personal enrollees that view content, up to $1 as we build out the organization. So we want to have paid traffic, and we've been teaching this for years. Paid traffic, paid traffic, paid traffic, paid traffic. What is the challenge with paid traffic? You tell me in your questions box. And don't worry, don't say it's where do I go, because those of you who follow us intimately, you'll know where to go. All right, so you won't have any problem getting eyeballs to your offer. You just got to pay for it. What's the problem with paid traffic? Talk to me. There you go. There you go, Elma. It costs money. It costs money. And not everyone has the extra budget. Okay? This is why we're so passionate about THWGlobal, Because assuming she's gold, excuse me. Give me just a moment. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Because she allows our folks meaning anyone that is following us, doesn't mean that you're on our team necessarily, but if you follow us, hey, you'll welcome you to our family, okay? You may not be on our personal enrollment team. That's all right, okay? This allows our following to generate revenue that they can use. There's really a couple things you need to have. Well, more than a couple, but what you want to build out a long-term sustainable business, whether we're talking THWGlobal, whether we're talking, we did a poll a couple weeks ago, 75% of you said, well, I'm promoting other things as well, which we highly support. We believe in having multiple streams of income. All right. What you need to have is you need to have paid traffic, because paid traffic is the only type of traffic that is scalable. I can only cut so many videos. There's only so many hours in a day for me to cut video content. All right. So I can load up a bunch of videos. But here's the thing I can't do with this. I have no idea how many people are going to come across my video on any one given day and ultimately either join me or ultimately opt into something or what have you. But what I can do with paid traffic is I can say, I want 500 sets of eyeballs on my offer, 1,000 visitors to my site, 2,000, 20,000 visitors, so on and so forth. Now, as your business starts to scale, your income starts to grow, you want to take a percentage of your increasing revenues and scale that up. So maybe you started off doing a paid traffic campaign once a month, but then your revenues start to grow because not only are you viewing, but you now are starting to develop a team and they're viewing and you're generating override income. And so you take a percentage of your revenue, and now instead of doing a traffic campaign maybe once a month, maybe you're doing a traffic campaign every 2 weeks. And then it gets to the point that you're doing a traffic campaign every week. And then it gets to the point that you are leveraging multiple traffic sources a week. That's ultimately where you want to be. But the challenge has been for so many people that the budget was tight and they didn't have money for traffic and they didn't have money necessarily for the tools and resources. Now, what I'm going to say to you is I want all of us to look at our lives, look at monies that we're spending. And most of us have some fat somewhere. Most of us are spending money in areas that are not helping us to get to where we want to be. And so let's cut some fat. If there's something that we're spending money on, but it is not getting you to where you want to be, you cannot build any business online on the cheap. Now, I don't mean you got to spend an arm and a leg, but you have to be willing to invest in your business. If you're not willing to invest in your business, ladies and gentlemen, then just leave internet marketing alone. Don't get frustrated. Do something else, because the only way that you're going to build a long-term sustainable business that generates significant revenues. We did a poll, I think it was last week, where 76% of you said you wanted to make $5,000 a month or more. Of the 76%, 30 some odd percent said you wanted to make more than 10 grand a month. And of the 76% that wanted to make 5 grand or more, 40 some odd percent of you wanted to make 50 grand a month or more. That doesn't happen just because you hope and you wish. You can take all the personal development classes and courses and videos, and you can do all of the positive affirmations, and I believe in all that stuff, okay? And you can dream and dream and dream, but at some point you got to wake up and make it a reality. And so you've got to have the right tools, the right resources to capture the leads. You don't want people just going to your website and not capturing the lead. That lead is more important than the person registering with you at the website. Let me say that again. That lead, that person opting in to an email list, that person opting in to an SMS text list, that lead is more important than making the sale. That lead is more important than getting the recruit. Why? Because offers abound. Offers abound. I've been in systems where I'm making money today, back in the mid-2000s. I'm between 2003, 2006, I'm with a particular company. At our height, we were doing about 20 grand a month. Didn't like some things that we saw with that company. Had the chance to become a part owner of a new company. We decided to become a part owner of a new company. So I've had some network marketing ownership experience. I can't say it was great experience because we didn't quite make it. All right, so that's one of the reasons I say, is it crap, is it gold? Because I know that you can have a great product, great system, great plans and what have you, but you could have poor execution. Our company, there were 5 owners, 3 of us on the same page, 2 of us were not. The 2 that weren't basically killed the business. And so it wasn't a scam, but we had poor execution. So in any event, I'm with this company. I leave the company. I printed out my genealogical list, and I wasn't going to go down on my 3rd level and 4th level and 5th level and try to poach people. You don't do that. That's not good business. But I was going to reach out to people that had personally enrolled in that particular company and say, hey, here's what we're doing. This is why I left and what have you. My attorney said, no, you cannot reach out to those people. I'm saying, sure I can. That's my list. That's my genealogical list. Attorney said you need to read those terms and conditions. If you call anybody, if you try to contact anybody on that list, because I got the list from the back office of the network marketing company. By the way, network marketing companies, when they go to attorneys to set everything up, everything is set up to protect the company, not you and me, okay? The network marketing attorney is hired by who? The company. So he or she, the attorney, is going to make sure the company is set up. So what my attorney said is, if you go and you start calling people from your genealogical list saying, hey, this is what's going on, come and join me over here or what have you, that company has every right to sue you and cause an injunction, and you'll never get your business off the ground. And so guess what? I had all these people that I had built relationships with for years. And if I could not show that they had opted into something like an email autoresponder, which would show when they opted in and IP address and all that other good stuff, he said, I couldn't talk to them. So what you have in your THWGlobal back office is not your list. It's THWGlobal's list. It's not your list. Yes, you see the name and the email address of the person you referred. That's not your list. Now, when you have that person opt into your email autoresponder or your SMS text list that we'll be launching in the next 2 to 3 weeks, now you've got a list. You must have a list, ladies and gentlemen, that you own and control. Now, most network marketing companies are not going to teach you that because they want you to promote their deal. Most network marketing leaders are not going to teach you that because they want you to promote the company that they're promoting because you're on their team, and it's to their benefit that you stay laser focused on that deal because they're getting some type of override. And at once upon a time, that was me. I was telling you, hey, you can't chase 2 rabbits and hope to catch either one of them. But you live and you learn and you have experiences, and you're with a company and you make a lot of money with that company, and all of a sudden that company does something where they didn't dot some I's or cross some T's, and all of a sudden they run into regulatory issues, and then the company is no more. And now what do? If you don't have a list, you're in trouble. If it winds up being crap, I pray she's not crap, I pray she's gold, and you don't have a list, guess what? Now what do? What just happened with a company called Traffic Monsoon? Got shut down. So if all you had was the people in your genealogy in your back office, but you were not building that list, now how do you get in touch with them? Because now all of a sudden you don't have a back office anymore. So you must own and control the list so that you control the messaging that goes to that list. So maybe your messaging today is THWGlobal, and then something comes across your email box or your SMS text box a month from now, 2 months from now. Let's say THWGlobal is gold. It's gold. All right, you're making money there. And a weight loss product comes across, and you need to lose some weight. And you take the weight loss product and you lose some weight. And you're like, oh my gosh, I lost 10 pounds. I lost 15 pounds. I lost 20 pounds. I want people to know that I lost 10 pounds, 20 pounds. Maybe they'll join me if there's a business side, or maybe they'll just buy the product. Well, guess what? You want to have a list where you can control that messaging. And if you want to send out an offer about your weight loss product, about your brain function product, or your personal development this, or what have you, you want to have that list. That list, that subscriber in your list is more important than the one-time sale. That list, that subscriber in your list is more important than the person that just joined you in THW Global. Because the reality is, you're going to have a lot of people that join you in THW Global because it's free. Doesn't mean they're going to execute. Doesn't mean they're going to do anything. A lot of people are going to treat it as being free. So you're going to have a lot of folks that join, but if you don't have them in your list, then it becomes very difficult to communicate effectively. A blind CC is not effective communication. Now that might be where you are right now. So do that until you get an email autoresponder. Now we've got a couple systems that we're going to be launching here real soon, and one of those will recommend the email autoresponders that we use, and also we'll have some ultimately have some training on how to use that email autoresponder, so on and so forth. A mobile marketing system. Which is why I want to start doing some training on that now on Thursday, because that's going to be launching in maybe 2 or 3 weeks or what have you. Okay. All right. So I want you to make the commitment that you are going to begin developing a list that you own and you control. When I say you own it, you're going to be leasing the tool. The autoresponder, you're going to be paying for that monthly or annually or what have you. The mobile marketing system, the same time, you're going to be leasing that. So you don't own that system, but you own the lead is what my point is. You own the lead. You control what content is shared with that lead. You want to talk to them about THW Global? Great. You want to talk to them about ABC? Great. You want to talk to them about DEF? Great. All right. And one of the things that we want to begin moving our audience to is not just being a marketer, but being an entrepreneur. Because, for instance, all right, we talk about these tools and resources. Most of these tools and resources that we'll be recommending